Hi, this is David Evans of quantumindicators.com, and in this video I'm going to take you through the panel functionality within the DV plugin tool. So what you've got in front of you here is something I created using the tools available within the program, but I'll rewind first and show you how this was created. So the first thing I did was I downloaded the latest data for the S&P 500 ETF. Oops. That came up because I didn't actually have I didn't have the cursor in the right cell, so let's go through that again. Market download, let's download the market. I've already got this downloaded, so I'll just do a different market. So let's have the GSPC. Right, so what this is doing now is downloading the historical data for the S&P 500 index. And then now what the tool allows you to do is to see what the current scores are for, or recent scores are for various indicators. The reason this is showing up here with the same values as yesterday is because the market in the US isn't actually open at the time of me doing this video. So some of the more famous indicators for DV from David Varady are the DVO, and DVB, and perhaps the DVI. So we click here, go to the panel, and all these values will become made available. And also, if we go to the reason this is available, so the DV Indicators tab, this is for, it gives you a lot of functionality, instantly see the performance of different variables and different indicators. But this panel function is, if you want to go a bit further, if you want to check other things other than just a straight by cell, if you want to combine different indicators or put in a environment filter. So, for example, we look at some of these. We've got an environment filter such as, or the Livermore Trend Rank, or the TSI, which is the trend strength indicator. I'll bring that up. So let's add the TSI to these. I'll just keep it simple, so I'll delete those two and bring up the TSI. So we've got the DVO level and the TSI. So a simple, relatively simple thing would be I think 1.7 is considered an average, above average trend score for the TSI, this trend strength indicator from Frank Hassler. So what you could do is set up a formula, if you have those skills, to see how the DVO performs above and below the TSI score being 1.7. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video and I'll set this up and we can see how that works. Okay, here's one I prepared earlier, and we'll make these available as part of the website just to get you going if you wish. What I've done, I've got the DVO values coming down here. I've got the TSI values coming down here, and I set up a formula which says if the DVO is below 0.5, you go long. If it's right, so compound. So if it's above 0.5, you go short. But I've got the potential here for an added filter, whereby we only go long if the TSI is above a certain level. Now what I've done initially, I've set this to 0. So now we can see, so we've got it's about 10,000 pounds or dollars, or whatever unit you want to ascribe. I've just based this on percentage change. So let's just go back and create a quick graph so we can see how this performs. This is on the cash index, and you will actually get different results on the S&P 500 ETF version, which actually performs better with it. So we can see here it's done exceptionally well over the last few years, incredibly well, based on percentage value change. Total return from the longs has been better, as you might expect. All stock markets in recent years have a long side bias, apart from 2008. And the short total has also been very respectable. So what happens if we change this variable here to only look at when the TSI score is above 1.7? So we can see that it kind of cuts in half the performance of the long trades. but what it really does is it whacks the performance of the short trades. So in total, it really doesn't add much value on the short side, and you could perhaps argue that short trades, when the market is strong, what it's called a trend strength indicator. So what it's saying is when the market has a very strong trend, usually to the upside, then the short trades don't perform that well at all. We can play around with this value, so above 1.5, it does pretty well, and then we can go above 2 if we want. There's not many times it actually goes above 2, so let's change that to 1.6. So you can see so what might do 0.7. There we go. Let's see how the short trades perform below 1.7. So I'm just going to change the formula quick. So what I did here, just shifted the formula around so that the short trades only action when the trend strength indicator is below 1.7, or we could do below 1.8. And we can do even better is still, or even 1.9. So what this panel gives you is the ability to be more flexible in the studies. And if you have a modicum of Excel knowledge, and or even we could create some more templates for you. But this is what this is for. So it's going beyond the initial indicators for you to combine and delve deeper. On that note, here's another one I prepared earlier. Very similar study. What I've got looking at this time is 2 indicators, and we only trade when they're pointing in the same direction. And obviously, as you can see here, I've got the same indicator set up. So we've got a baseline scenario. So if the DVO is below 0.5, you go long. If it's above 0.5, you go short. But what happens if we mix these indicators? Let's say you look at the DVI as well as the DVO. So we can get those indicator values straight away by running the DV panel. There we go. So we can see that the absolute return is reduced, but we got a fairly smoother ride coming from it. And if you wanted to, you can play around with other variables. Let's see the DV, the DVB, and another indicator called the DVSC. Actually, they're fairly similar. So let's have a look at the DVO and the DVB. There we go. So obviously you can see these are both short-term indicators, so you could argue it's not really adding much putting these two together. Okay, so I hope that gives you a taste through of what you can do with the panel, and this is really, for those of you with a modicum of Excel knowledge, then really the world's your oyster with these indicators. What it allows you to do is get the indicator values for various studies for you to investigate to your heart's content. Okay, this has been Dave Evans of quantumindicators.com.